This game has been getting some attention, but is it actually worth playing? Let's break it all down. SteamDolls is all about exploration, combat, and stealth. Players take on the role of the Whisper, an anarchist navigating a dystopian city filled with secrets and danger. The game offers fluid movement, deadly combat, and an immersive world inspired by classic Metroidvania games. From a gameplay perspective, there's a solid foundation. Movement feels responsive, and the stealth mechanics allow for different approaches. Taking down enemies from the shadows is satisfying, and there's a real sense of weight to each action. However, it's not without flaws. One of the biggest highlights of the game is its atmosphere. The hand-drawn environments are detailed, gritty, and match the game's dark themes. The steampunk aesthetic is well executed, making the world feel alive with its industrial decay and eerie mood. Another strong point is the voice acting. David Hayter, known for his role as Solid Snake, lends his voice to the Whisper, bringing a deep and compelling performance. Jennifer Hale and Christopher Randolph also add a level of polish that few indie games can match. The game's narrative is another engaging element. It leans into mystery, chaos, and rebellion, keeping players intrigued about what's happening behind the scenes. The writing is sharp, and the world building makes the city feel oppressive, yet fascinating to explore. While the game's core elements are solid, players have noted several major issues in the demo. One of the biggest complaints is enemy balancing. Some enemies and bosses feel like they absorb too much damage, making combat drag on longer than it should. This can make fights feel repetitive rather than skill-based, especially when enemies lack varied attack patterns. Another frustrating issue is enemy placement. There are times when enemies are positioned in a way that makes combat feel awkward, forcing unnecessary retries rather than rewarding skillful play. Some players have described moments where enemies attack from off-screen or are placed in ways that make movement feel restrictive rather than strategic. The platforming mechanics also have room for improvement. While movement is mostly smooth, the ability to drop through platforms feels inconsistent. This can lead to frustrating moments, especially in areas requiring quick navigation. Controls should feel intuitive in a Metroidvania, but here they sometimes work against the player. Sound design is another area that could use some refinement. While the voice acting is excellent, some of the game's sound effects feel weak. Attacks don't always carry the impact they should, making combat feel less satisfying than it could be. A stronger, punchier sound design would go a long way in making fights more immersive. The developers have been responsive to feedback, and these issues can be addressed before the full release. If the enemy balancing is fixed, platforming is refined, and sound design is improved, SteamDolls could become a standout title in the genre. So, is SteamDolls Order of Chaos worth playing? Right now, the demo shows a game with a lot of potential, but also some frustrating flaws. The world, voice acting, and narrative are strong, but the combat balance, enemy placement, and platforming mechanics need work. If these issues get fixed, this could be an excellent Metroidvania experience. But as it stands, it's a cautious recommendation, worth keeping an eye on, but not yet a must-play. If you're interested in steampunk settings and don't mind some rough edges, it might be worth trying out. Otherwise, waiting for updates might be the best approach. What do you think? Will you be playing SteamDolls Order of Chaos? Let's discuss in the comments. If you're curious about Nine Souls and want to know if it's worth playing in 2025, then don't miss our full review. We go over everything, so if you want a deep dive into all the details, just click the link on the screen. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe for more gaming reviews. That way, you'll always be in the loop on the latest releases.